So welcome back to the Sawmill, friends. Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Established Titles. And right now they're having a huge holiday sale going on. And if you use my code Out of the Woods at checkout, you get an additional 10% off. Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping global reforestation efforts. It is a project based on a historic Scottish custom, where landowners are referred to as lards or lords and ladies in English. They also plant a tree with every order and work with global charities like the One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. This title pack also makes a great last minute gift because it gives you the title of a lord or a lady that you can use on your airplane tickets, your credit cards, or even your dating profiles. Right now, the first 200 people purchasing the title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot or within walking distance. So for those of you that act right now, we can build our own little out of the woods kingdom in Scotland. Now with this title pack, you get at least 1 square foot of land at a private estate in Scotland, an assigned plot number, and also a certificate as well. So once again, there's a link down below in the video description. There's also a link in the top comment if you can't see that. Be sure to use my code Out of the Woods at checkout to save an additional 10%. So let's get to the video, friends, and once again, thank you to Established Titles. So welcome back to the Sawmill, friends. It is a perfect day here in Northeast Tennessee. It's late November and the temperature is about 55 degrees. Perfect sawmilling weather. You can't beat it. We got a pretty good sized pine on the mill. We're gonna cut that up to 1x6s and we're gonna try to get this kiln loaded up before night comes. Before we get started today, better fill up the lubrication tank. Been sawing all this pine this week, and that really makes you use a lot more lubrication than you usually do. Found that when sawing pine, if you don't have diesel going, then you're better off just soaking that blade the whole time. Since I can't afford diesel to put in this right now, because diesel is way too expensive, add a little bit of this spindle lubricant, and it seems to do okay. I mean, there's still pine pitch on the blade, but it's not too bad. With diesel, it would be better. I need to be on the other side. Well, the saw head's in my way. Let me turn you guys around. This blade, it was getting kind of dull yesterday, but there's a little bit of an edge on there. I think we'll leave it on here, see how it does. It may saw up the whole log. Sometimes these blades will surprise you and you'll get more life out of them than you think you will. There's a little bit of an edge on there. We'll make a few cuts and check the flatness, and judging by what I can hear, we may leave it on there for a while, or we may take it off. People ask me all the time how many logs or how much life you get out of a blade. I need to clean up this sawdust over here. This place is a mess. And it really depends upon how fast you're sawing, how dirty the logs are, what the species is, and the time of year, because if it's wintertime, logs are frozen, that's going to hurt your blade life as well. There's a lot of variables in there. I think if I had to do an average for most sawyers, I would say between 400 to maybe 700 board foot a log. Now some guys may get more than that, but take into account, let's say that you're sawing 10 by 10 post all day. That's a lot of board footage, and you're not making a lot of passes with that mill, but you are producing a lot of lumber. So a guy that's sawing 1x won't get as many board feet as the guy that's sawing 10 by 10s or 8 by 8s all day. Let's get this sawmill turned on, load up this log, and take a better look at it. You guys see what I had to do right there? The LT70 only has 2 hydraulic bat stops right here. 1, 2. It has 2 manual ones. When I walked down here, I could see that this log was barely going to catch this one right here. I think this log is just barely over 8 feet. So I put up the manual one to make sure I didn't have a disaster and flip the log over the back right here. All right, guys, real fast, this log is barely over 8 feet. I checked that just a minute ago off camera. That's why we barely caught this bat stop right here. The operator size, the diameter, operator size. I can't talk today, that's a shocker. The operator side diameter is 26 inches. 26 inches. I got a few checks going on right here and maybe some wind shake right there. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. We'll have to keep an eye on that today. Here on the far end, we're looking at 25 inches. Not much taper in this log. We sawed this into 4/4 boards, a little proud of 6 inches on the width. We'll make this into shiplap once it comes out of the kiln for the timber frame. And the only thing I'm going to have to really watch today are these huge knot clusters right here, and they're about 30 inches apart. Sawmill, we got the Maine Silvertip Turbo 7. If you want those blades, friends, give him a phone call. His cell phone number is down in the video description. Yes, people still ask me where I get my blades. Cracks me up. I get emails all the time. Where do you get your blades at? You must not watch the videos if you're asking that question. All right, and somebody asked the other day about this right here. This is a debarker. You must be new to the channel, and that's all right. You don't know unless you ask. This is a debarker, and it removes the bark before the blade enters the log. Let me see if I can word that better. So in the path the blade takes on the log, this little 1/4 of an inch blade on the debarker is removing the bark. Therefore, the blade is not hitting that bark or any dirt or rocks or mud that's in that bark. So that makes your blade last a whole lot longer. It's kind of like putting a chainsaw in the dirt. You don't want to do it. So this debarker right here kind of helps you fight that from happening. Really good accessory for a sawmill. Gotta have it. I'll take that back. You don't have to have it. My first 2 sawmills were an LT28 and an LT35, and neither one of them had a debarker, and I did just fine. But it's a nice luxury to have. I should reword that. It's like the laser. You don't have to have it, but it sure is nice. right, guys, we got that broke down into cants. I actually have 2 more cuts on that 1 cant, but we have a small problem. So the problem is I have nowhere to stack my boards. I got a decent full load right there. I need to take that down to the kiln, and I also need to take the slabs down to the burn pile and get rid of those. I think the burn pile's still smoking. We'll probably get the fire going today. So before we finish up this log, let's take this wood down to the kiln and these slabs to the burn pile. What time is it? 2 o'clock. If I'm lucky, we'll get this kiln loaded up and drying today. If I'm lucky. You guys hang in there. All right, guys, this is not going to work. I'm ready to stack my lumber, but I'm out of stickers.